session. Siddarth Bhamre is Director of Alternate Investment and Research at InCred Equities. He's joining us right now. Siddarth, thanks very much. Good morning. Great to have you here. In terms of the markets, which are at new highs, I mean, it's in a way uncharted territory, so anything is really possible. But what would you do? Would you go along the Nifty or the Bank Nifty, or you'd stick with stocks?
Good morning, Prashant. Thanks for having me on the show. Well, there was some confusion around this 18,000 mark psychological level, and FIs were also confused. They were going short, then they were covering short, then they were unwinding long positions. And it's been like last two trading sessions, Wednesday and Thursday, they have formed long positions. So that confusion is behind us. Yes, stock specific, I think most of the traders are making great money on the long side and not on the short side. And the trend is positive. More importantly, what has happened, Prashant, in Bank Nifty is very encouraging. So even when there was confusion around 18,000 odd levels, we were of the opinion that if you want to go long, then it has to be Bank Nifty. And if you are thinking of going short, then probably if, against the data, if you want to go, then you can short Nifty. But Bank Nifty was clearly an outlier and data was supporting it. Whereas Nifty has continued to move up merely on back of cash buying. We haven't seen any formation of long positions. But if you look early part of last week, Bank Nifty has seen huge formation of long position. And it's not just the index, but also some of the large cap names. Mitesh gave buy on some of the banks. We are quite bullish on HDFC Bank and IndusInd Bank. So these private sector banks and the kind of weightage they carry in Nifty would ensure probably, we would see further upside. Even if you look at the options data, put writers are pretty active in 18,300 strike price, which is nearly at the money. And call writers are not writing anything before 18,700, which leaves a decent upside on Nifty as well. However, we would prefer Bank Nifty on the long side because that's where data is more supportive, and some of the large cap names in that space have given breakout as well. So stay positive, don't go against the trend. Once market turns, whenever it turns, we all might lose some money, but then wait for that rather than preempting it.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks a lot for that, Siddarth. Just a couple of more pointers before we head into a break. In fact, let's do one thing. Nigel, my colleague, is here. There's been a big upgrade that has come through from Credit Suisse on names like Vedanta. We'll talk about that in a bit. Ultratech Cement also comes out with their numbers. So it's a heavy day in terms of earnings as well. But before that, Siddarth, just a quick word on cement stocks, since Ultratech Cement will pretty much kick off cement sector earnings this time. Technically, how do these stocks look, and any preferred picks here as a positional trade for the week?
So a lot of these names are adding, decent amount of buying into them in cash market. Two names, in fact, we are more optimistic on mid-cap space. We have seen India Cement, a new addition to FNO space. So yeah, that has added a lot of open interest. And I'm purely talking from trading perspective. Investment perspective, we all know that large cap names are better investment ideas. The other name which we are keeping close eye on is Ramco Cement. We like that space. As a house call, we are bullish on that name. Technically, I'm waiting for 2 to 3% up move from here. Last session, it did show decent up move, but then again there was an intraday correction. I'm expecting once Ramco Cement goes above 1,020, which is not very far from current levels, this candidate is a technically sound triangular breakout pattern and can be a great buy. So I'm preferring India Cement, Ramco Cement, these names as a conditional buy rather than jumping into large cap names. But overall sector seems to be looking good.